Hello, everybody. I hope you're having a good day. My name's Danny Cavanagh. I was the songwriter in Anathema for 30 years, and I'm the songwriter in Weather Systems, the new band. You're listening to Sonic Perspectives. Have a good day.
Hey everyone, this is Scott Medina. We got Danny on the line from Weather Systems and of course from Anathema. And we're just so excited to have you, Danny. Thanks for coming in and talking to us.
Thank you, Scott.
Yeah,
Speaking all the way on the internet to Boulder, Colorado.
that's right. That's where I'm at.
Fantastic.
We were just reminiscing that you were out
Yeah.
with the band several years back, and that was glorious to have you here.
Oh, yeah. That, like I told you, that was my favorite tour that we ever did.
Hmm.
And like we weren't in a posh tour bus or anything, and some of the drives were pretty hairy. I kept thinking the driver was going to fall asleep because he was also being a roadie for the tour, but it was actually a really great experience to see your country and see it more fully. And like I told you, every place that we went to, I could reference it. You know, we went to New Orleans or we went to fucking Florida or we went to Texas or God, I think we played quite a few gigs in the Midwest. We went to Atlanta, we went yeah, we also went to Canada as well.
All
And
right.
then, yeah, Seattle, LA, New York. It was just wonderful. I
Such a treat
love your
to have you.
country, man. I mean, I really love America.
Mm.
I really do.
Yeah, well, we were thrilled to have you over here. And
It's awesome country, man. It's an awesome country. I know America says it's the greatest country in the world. It is the biggest and most powerful democracy in the world, but it is also a really great country.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we just love having your music come over, and so today really want to get into the album has just been released. I'm sure a lot of people
Uh-huh.
listening right now have already had it this week and are excited
Mhm.
to hear more about it. So maybe
Well, what do you want to
start
know?
off. Yeah, yeah. Let's start off talking about the new band so everyone knows who's in it. You want to run it down
I'm
for us?
glad, Scott, you're the first person that's called it a band, and you're right to do that. Everybody else calls it a project, but it's not. It's a band, and it's long term. There's
Right on.
me and Daniel Cardoso. We're like the spine of it, formerly Anathema, both of us. And then we've got a singer called Soraya Silva from Portugal, who is really fantastic. She's got everything. She's got a great voice, great charisma, great stage presence, wonderful movement. She looks fantastic, and she's really good. And then we've got Petter Carlson, who's been helping out. He sang on the album on a few songs because he's got a higher range than me, and he's a wonderful, beautiful singer.
Right.
And then on live, there's going to be possibly an Italian piano player if we can afford to bring him, and certainly a bass player from Portugal called Tobel Lopez. So yeah, it's a band, and when we go on tour, I'm actually thinking of about playing the whole Ocean Without a Shore album in order,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
then playing all of the Weather Systems album from 2012 in order because well, two reasons, three reasons. The first reason is I still get on really well and love very much my colleagues in Anathema. So you've got like Vincent, particularly, and John Douglas, particularly, because we were like the songwriting team, us three, right? And
Right.
I'm still love them very, very much. And I still talk to them sometimes. Vinny just lives down the road from me, and I love them. And so there's that. So there's no bad feeling between me, the band.
Mm-hmm.
It's not one of those breakups where people, hate each other. It's not certainly not with me, John and Vincent.
Good to hear.
Because people don't realize, but we were the heart of the band, me, John, and Vincent. We really were. People didn't realize that because John is so shy that people didn't know how important he really was.
Yeah, he wrote some great songs for the band.
He was the songwriter, second songwriter and producer. Um, so the first point about it, about doing that album is that I'm still in good relations with the band and I love them and I miss them and I'll always love them and I'll always miss them. But life goes on. The second reason is I wrote 90% of that Weather Systems album, all the words, all the melodies, and all the chord progressions. And that's not an ego thing, it's just a fact. And the third thing is if we don't do that, nobody else will.
That's right. Yeah.
So that the plan is maybe to do that, to play all of Ocean Without a Shore, then all of Weather Systems. It's like 55 minutes for both records. That's nearly 2 hours, and then a couple of songs for the encore, and that's it.
Fantastic. Well, the
Man, but
fans would love it.
I haven't decided for sure if this is the right thing to do, but I think it might be.
Yeah, right. Well, so let's look at a little at this material for the new album because I'm really curious. It sounds like this material has its roots back to when you were writing with Anathema for the follow-up to
That's
the
right. Yeah, a lot of the songs would have been on the follow-up
yeah,
if we made it. I know Synesthesia, the really heavy song that opens the album.
sure.
I do know that Anathema was not going to do that song because it was too metal.
Too heavy. Yeah.
Yeah, so the reason it's on this album is because there was nobody there to tell me that they didn't like it.
Right.
And that's one of the benefits of working on, alone with the producer, because there's no arguments and no disagreements. It's just me and the producer getting it done, getting the files from Portugal, the drum files, the vocal files, they're all fantastic. Produced by Daniel Cardoso, done brilliantly. Then we get Petter's files from Norway in he lives in the far north of Norway, beyond the Arctic Circle.
Wow.
And I've been there at Christmas, and it's -25 in the afternoon. And they're really warm people up there. It's great. So he sent his files over because we couldn't fly them to the studio. And then me and the producer just put it all together over the course of a few weeks. And there was no disagreement and no bad vibes in the studio at all. But I'm not saying it was better because it was more fun working with the group, working with Vincent and John, particularly, and Lee Douglas as well. But particularly Vincent and John were my two favorites. But I always really enjoyed making Anathema albums. But I think it's really obvious that Vincent had fallen out of love with the Anathema thing. And he did not enjoy making The Optimist. He had a bad time.
Oh, okay.
I feel sorry for him, really, because he really did have a bad time making that record, but I was happy and I enjoyed it so much. So
for this,
that was that.
This album had Anathema ever gotten far enough to actually record
We
some
demoed it. Yeah, we did demo a number of the songs. I think the only song that I wrote after the breakup was Untouchable Part 3.
Oh, that was
that I wrote that after the breakup. But the others, what I did is I just refined them, added some lyrics, finished off a few things, arrangement wise and stuff. But like Synesthesia, I arranged that on my own because the band didn't want to do it, right? But like the song Do Angels Sing Like Rain, we demoed that whole thing with Vincent and John in the studio and Lee. And I wrote the vocals in 5 minutes and recorded it in 5 minutes. And that's the version that you hear on the album.
That's the finished version on the Weather System.
5 minutes after it was written.
Wow,
in one take. And Vincent wanted to keep that vocal on the album because he said, I can sing this song, but you sound like you meant it when you sang it. So honestly, that song sounds almost exactly like it would if Anathema stayed together.
Gotcha.
That's track 2.
Right.
But track 1 would never have even been on the album if Anathema. So that shows you the two extremes,
Totally. It's good to have something else on there that wouldn't have been on Anathema that you get to branch
Yeah.
out and introduce
And
some.
it's heavy as fucking fuck.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. For the other songs, how do you decide when you're going to sing the lead and when you're going to have Petter sing or Soraya come in?
It just really comes down to pitch because I don't have a high range. Like Vincent has he has like almost like an alto voice. He can also do higher range vocals. I can't. So that's where I would ask Soraya to take over that role. Also, because having a female voice brings a different gender and a different energy to the sound, you know? And
Yeah.
then Petter would sing also stuff that was just out of my range, you know? And that would be the stuff that Vincent used to do. But it was if it's out of my range, I give it to either Soraya or Petter,
Yeah. Well, that's
because I
an,
just don't have that range. I just don't
oh,
have a
yeah.
high range.
Yeah, I
I mean,
get
I'm
it.
going to stretch it on tour. We'll see how it goes, because your voice improves on tour. It's like a muscle.
Uh-huh.
And I don't smoke anymore either. So that helps. So maybe it'll be better on tour, after like 5 or 10 gigs and you're really cooking.
Yeah.
I might sound better there. I mean, the thing is, like, I'm not the greatest singer in the world. I'm certainly not the worst, but I sound authentic. Is the point?
Exactly. And
I,
your
I
song.
sound like because I wrote it and I sound like I mean it. And
Right.
even Vincent said that on track 2 of the album. He said, "I don't want to sing that. You've
Mm,
done it already. You've finished it. I don't know how you did it, but you wrote it in 5 minutes. It sounds fucking brilliant. I don't know how you did it." And I said, "Are you going to sing that?" He said, "No, I'm keeping that one."
nice.
So those I used to really, really love those chats, but I just used to love sitting there talking music with those guys. I was notorious for sitting there discussing songs and concepts and albums with them, and they were all bored listening to me. But I just love that shit.
Well, let's get into like some of the lyrics behind here because I know you say, like I saw you said in the press, this is a very spiritual album for you. So, like,
It
what
is, yeah.
what does that mean to you, and how did that show up in the lyrics?
Well, because I was having a bad time emotionally after the band broke up,
Yeah.
I found that I couldn't write anything negative because it would make me feel worse. So I kept all the stuff that I was writing positive, and that's because I had to be positive. And I kept it spiritual because I had to do that in order to heal myself from feeling so sad, about the breakup and feeling quite lost for a while. Um, One of the ways I got better were several ways I got better. One, I had an amazing therapist who was also a psychiatrist, and he's one of the best psychiatrists in the entire country. And he brought me through. The second thing was I meditated every day, and I took medication to help me with the worst of the anxiety. And the third thing I did was write songs that helped me feel better. And I couldn't write anything negative because I physically couldn't do it because it would make me feel worse. So even though there's very sad moments in the album, songs about loss and like Untouchable is about something being out of your reach that you love very much, but it's out of your reach. And it's real. And all the songs are autobiographical. And so there is sadness in there and there is loss and acceptance, but there's no negativity. And that's because I couldn't write anything negative because it just made me feel worse. And I'm actually proud that the album is like that. There's enough people writing negative things.
Right.
Yeah.
So it sounds like writing this album really for you really was
It was coming from the heart, I can tell you
coming
that.
from the
It was
heart, but
coming from the
also is
heart.
an important part of your process of grieving the end of Anathema
Yeah, and
and coming to your own.
you're the first person to say grieving the end of Anathema, and you are fucking exactly right.
Yeah.
It was a grieving process,
Yeah.
and I went through all the stages, but the fact is, it wasn't a breakup that, where bands hate each other after they broke up.
Mhm.
Me, John, and Vincent don't have that problem, you know,
That's
and
awesome.
that's because they are good people. they are better people than some other people, that have
Well,
been
you've been grieving,
around.
but also, I mean, all the fans have been grieving too. So this is like a
I couldn't even think about that, honestly.
yeah,
It was so overwhelming that I couldn't even think about that.
right.
And there's nothing I could do about it because it was Vinny's decision, and we didn't want to say, "Oh, Vinny's left the band." We said we'll make a hiatus in case he changes his mind, but he didn't.
Hmm.
So we just had that when it became clear that he wasn't going to change his mind. That's when I decided to call it Weather Systems, and I went round to his house and asked him what he thought of the name, and he said it's great.
Nice.
And I said, "What do you think about Petter joining as a singer?" He said, "That's a brilliant idea." So
Hmm.
Vinny's been supportive the whole time. So there's no argument or bitterness.
That's great. Do you know how
But
John or Lee might feel about the weather systems, or haven't you
I
checked?
don't think she has much of an opinion about it. At least I think she knew that I was going to do music because that's what I do, right? She knows that I
Yeah.
live for music and it's my most natural thing. So I'm sure she knew that I would do that. She
Hmm.
probably hasn't listened to it, to be honest.
Right. Yeah. Well,
I
there's
don't think any of them listened to it, to be honest. I know Vincent has heard it and given me some feedback on the songs,
Mhm.
and John did promise that he would listen to the album, but I just don't know if he has.
Yeah, at
You
some
know.
point. At some
At
point.
some point, they'll get round to it.
Yeah, yeah.
They've got other things going on in their heads.
Right.
That's fine. I don't mind as long as good we're on good terms. I don't care. I don't care if they listen to the album or not. As
Mhm.
long as we're on good terms, me, Vinny, and John, that's enough for me.
Right on. Yeah. And there's several touchstones lyrically, from one song to another,
Yeah.
sometimes back to older Anathema songs. So I'm curious, what's your thought process in revisiting material throughout your musical career?
Well, Are You There Part Two had to be called that because the melody, the second melody for Are You There, the new one, the one I play on the Gibson Les Paul. You can hear it sounds like Mark Knopfler.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, that was written in 2009, and Vinny really liked that song. And it had to be Are You There Part Two because it's literally using the exact same chords and the same key as Are You There did. So it had to be Are You There Part Two, and that was definitely going to be on the Anathema record that we never made.
Hmm.
Untouchable Part Three, I thought I'd use that name because it really fit the lyrics, you know? It really fit the lyrics. And it was in the same key as Untouchable 1 and 2. And if you put them together on a playlist and play them one after the other, it sounds like one complete piece of music. So that's why I did that.
Yeah, fantastic.
Also, some of the songs cross reference each other, like the title of the album is in the first song. And the title track references synesthesia, the color of sound, which is a reference to, they cross reference each other. And what that does is give the impression that the songs belong together as one complete piece of music. They belong together on the same record because they fit each other.
And it also ties your history in. Like, there's this line from the song Hindsight, for it is in love's gentle embrace that we come to know the space between us.
Yeah.
And then here on this album, we have a song called The Space Between Us.
It's also from a song called Summer Night Horizon.
Ah,
And we actually did a gig called The Space Between Us, which I gave them. They needed a title for this gig they were doing with the European Space Agency that referenced space. And I said, The Space Between Us.
yeah.
And that fits that song perfectly.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like the songs reference each other and they also reference some older material and I think that's good. And the band name references the old band. It's just so people know that it's part of the same universe.
Right.
Just like House of the Dragon is a new story, but it's part of the story of Game of Thrones.
Right.
So
Right.
this is like the same thing. This is part of the story of Anathema, and that's why I will always play Anathema songs live. And not just the ones that I wrote, but I would also play songs written by John Douglas as well.
Hmm. Yeah, like
Because
Universal is such a great
yeah,
song.
I might play that one because it's a fantastic track. And I love John. You
Yeah.
know, So I'd give him a mention every time I played Universal. I'd say this one's for him.
Right on. Yeah.
You know.
So you're talking about playing live. What are your
Yeah.
ideas
Next year
for that?
we finally got a manager, which has been like the biggest fucking relief. Scott, you can't believe how relieved I am.
Hmm.
Even the manager doesn't know how relieved I am that we got a manager. After 4 years without one, it was a real fucking good present, you know. It was a gift. And I really like him. He's a gentleman. He doesn't bully me. And the last two managers I've had experiences with, although they were great at their job, they tended to bully.
Hmm.
Only in emails, but they did tend to be a bit like that.
Yeah.
Although I have to say that they were both really, really good at their job. So I think I should make that clear before, I get into trouble.
Right.
But this guy, he's not like that. He's a more gentle soul. And that works with me because, if I was a football player and not having a great game, getting the hair dryer treatment from the manager wouldn't work. But getting the arm around the shoulder, I'm that kind of player.
Gotcha.
I need encouragement and understanding, and then I'll do it.
Yeah.
But if you bully me into things, I start to panic.
Right. So if you guys do some live gigs and this
Yeah,
album,
I want to go to America as well. See,
oh
our
my
record label's got a good presence in America, and this
oh
is also the best label I've ever been on, Mascot, without a doubt. No
right.
disrespect to the other labels that we've been on, but this is really impressive what they've got. I really like them.
Where do you maybe see the band going after that? Because so far, you've revisited
Another album,
material. Yeah, so all new material at this point, right?
yeah, another album. But we will when we tour, we'll play Anathema songs. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
considering opening with fucking Springfield.
Oh, right on. Huh.
That was written in a sound check in
Oh,
America,
oh no.
in Springfield. That's why it's got the name. There's a Springfield near Baltimore, and we were playing there, and I played that riff in the sound check, and Vinny got the phone. It's like, record this.
Mm.
And that riff just came off the guitar and ended up being the song. And it was called Springfield as a working title because it was written at that sound check in that city. We ended up just keeping it because there's a Springfield in Oregon, and we made the story that the driver was driving from San Diego through San Francisco, LA, and San Francisco, and then into Oregon, and he went to Springfield.
Mhm.
And I'm considering opening gigs with that, just to let people know, wait a minute, this is still, the Anathema Part 2 kind of thing. It's not the same. It's not Anathema, but it's definitely the cousin of Anathema.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, so back when you were doing that Optimist tour, I think there was a gig down in Mexico where Duncan got on the stage with you guys for the encore. How was that for you?
Oh, those days are on gone. It's
Yeah.
what I will say about Duncan is he transformed our sound when we wrote when he wrote Alternative 4. He transformed the sound of the band and gave it a new direction. And I've never had a problem giving him credit for that because he did do that. And he got paid and it's fine. And it was a long time ago, but he did change the path of the band and made it much more melodic than it maybe would have been. After that, I became a songwriter in my own right, but I did kind of a bit learn how to write songs through watching Duncan do it. And
Nice.
I've never had a problem giving him credit, but I don't think we'll be sharing the stage.
Yeah. No, no, just for that one time. I just wondered how that was for you back then.
Oh, they were all the memories. They were all those gigs were great. They were
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, sweet. And I hear you're a new uncle now too. Vincent just had a
That's
new
right. Where did you hear
son,
that?
right? He actually posted it on the Facebook page of the Radican.
Oh, great. Yeah. Yeah. His name is, the kid's name is Sonny James Dillon. It's like a fucking blues man. It's
Oh,
just a
nice.
fantastic name.
Yeah,
It's like Sonny James Dillon. It's like it's like you just got to get him a guitar and a pair of shades and he's away.
absolutely.
Yeah, he's less than a month old. I've been to meet him and he's he's beautiful.
No,
Like
fantastic.
and I'll tell you something, Vincent looks 10 years younger and he looks like all of his worries just fell off his shoulders.
Yeah, he posted a
It
photo there
really
of
suits
it.
him.
He looks so happy. Yeah,
It really suits him. Like his face has changed. He just looks so much more light and
Hmm.
I'm really happy for him in that regard. I'm really, really happy for both of them, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
You
Sweet.
know, it's great. It's great, and they're only up the road. You know, I only live down the road here with my partner, and
Hmm.
she's good with kids, so maybe we'll get, you know, get over there and do some babysitting later on when they're older. But
Right on.
no, but it's just like it's in the early stages for them,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's like. And it's like Sarah said, I was shocked at how much I loved him straight away. And I was like, I'm not shocked because I went through the same thing
Hmm.
with Ariel, my daughter, who lives in Italy.
Hmm.
And it's a different story because, well, I don't live with her, and it's not the same. But
Yeah.
um, I still know what it feels like to love, your son or daughter that much. And when Sarah said I was shocked, I said I'm not shocked. When I first met Ariel, I felt like Jesus Christ for about 5 days, just walking around on air.
Oh, so good. So good. Wow.
Yeah, I still love her very, very much.
Yeah. Well, Danny, it's so sweet to talk with you. Is there anything else you want to share
No, no,
with?
this was a nice interview. I like the positivity of the interview, and you seem like a really nice guy. So, thank you for having me. And I hope.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we've gotten to meet a couple times, like on the Progressive Nation cruise way back, and
Oh, right, yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, maybe we'll be on one of them one day. I don't know, but be nice to see you again, and give my love to Denver. When you see the mountains again, just say, "Ah, Danny misses you."
I sure will. And if you guys do come over here, see if there's any way you can include the Rocky Mountains in your tour, because we'd love to see
I'd
it.
love that. I would love that.
All right.
All
Cheers.
right, thanks, man.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, and
All the
God
best to you.
bless. Bye
And
bye
to you.
now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.